Hey everybody. Let's start with the good news. The good news is two things. First of all, today is November 27th, and on the Ari Fold Israel Defense page, we posted a video of Ari's on this date a few years ago, where he was at a very, very special wedding where, thousands, tens of thousands of people, the whole of Am Yisrael, the whole of the Jewish people were open to this open wedding in Jerusalem. And it was a very special and beautiful wedding, and Ari was there, and he took video, and you gotta watch it. It was posted earlier today. We reposted it. And it's about celebrating life even after going through tremendous tragedy. Because the woman, the young lady who was getting married in that wedding, in that special wedding that the whole of the Jewish people were invited to join and partake, had just recently before the wedding, I guess like a month or a few weeks before the wedding, lost most of her family, if I'm not mistaken, if not all of her family, most of her family, in a horrendous terror attack when the family was coming to celebrate together the preparations for the wedding, like on the Sabbath before the wedding. And after this tremendous tragedy, the wedding took place, and all the Jewish people were invited there, and Ari was there as well. So all of you who followed Ari, who loved his deep love for the Jewish people, his deep love for the land of Israel, for the homeland of the Jewish people, for his deep love for the truth, watch that video, because you will see and hear him celebrating this celebration of life that we Jewish people are supposed to internalize and hold on to and bring forth for the masses to see, even after overcoming the worst of tragedies. And that's how we're supposed to also be internalizing and thinking and moving forward after the tragedy of the loss of Ari himself to all of us and to humanity. So that's one piece of good news. Like, watch that video to see Ari and hear his excitement being at that very sad, emotional, yet inspiring and happy wedding that took place. That's number one. Now, dealing with the issues of the day, the craziness, the 2-car ramming attacks, one in Los Angeles, California on the Shabbat, on the Sabbath, just a few days ago, and one yesterday here in Israel, just not even 2 miles from where I live, in between Gush Etzion and Hebron. That's where the car ramming attack took place. Let's start with the good news. The good news is that, one, in Israel, the IDF soldiers killed that terrorist. That is exactly what those terrorists deserve. They try to kill us. Whether they succeed or not, they deserve to be killed, and thank God he was killed before going to jail, before the progressive left NGOs funded by the EU and other non-profit organizations fund the defense of the terrorists who kill Jews so that they get less time, so that their homes are not destroyed, so that they go free in prisoner exchanges. No, the terrorists tried to kill innocent Jews, and the IDF soldiers at the area, after he ran away, after he fled, they caught him and they shot him, and he is dead. So there were 3 Israeli soldiers injured in the attack. They were on the road doing engineering work, and he just swerved and rammed right into them. There is the video evidence showing how he swerved out of his lane right into the soldiers. And thank God they were wounded, none of them killed, but the terrorist was killed. So that's piece 1 of the good news. Piece 2 of the good news is the car ramming attack in Los Angeles. I don't know any of you who have seen the video, but there too, you see a driver do a 360-degree turn. 180 No, 360. Yeah, 360, sorry. Degree turn. In order to ram into innocent Jews walking on the sidewalks of Los Angeles on the Sabbath. That's what the driver did. And thank God the Jews who were there walking on the sidewalk, they saw that this car was coming at them and they had enough time to jump out of the way, so none of them got hurt. But here we go, folks. 2 car ramming attacks. One in Israel, one in Los Angeles. And how are they connected? They are connected by Jew hatred. They are connected by an evil that exists within the world. In this instance, both the car ramming attack in Israel that took place between Gush Etzion and Hebron and the one in Los Angeles were performed by Muslims. Yes, the car ramming attack in Los Angeles was performed by a man named Muhammad. How more Muslim can you get? He had a Quran on his dashboard that pictures were taken of it. And obviously here in Israel, the terrorist was also a Muslim. There is an evil in Islam that teaches these people Jew hatred from their mother's milk. Now again, I always say this, not all Muslims accept this, believe in it, or like it. There are some Muslims that are fine, especially ex-Muslims and non-religious Muslims. But there are hundreds of millions of Muslims in the world who believe in this Jew hatred as part of their lifestyle, as part of their religious theology. The teachings are there in the Quran itself. There is Jew hatred in their mother's blood, whether they live in the Middle East, in Israel, and whether they live in Los Angeles. And the more that the acceptance of Jew hatred is growing in the mainstream world, 3 openly anti-Semitic, anti-Israel congresswomen were just elected to Congress in the United States, midterm elections. All Democrats. Have you heard any outcry? 3 outright anti-Semites who are pro-boycotting Israel, who have on their own personal tweets or social media posts over the years called for and accepted the terror against Israel and the killing of Jews. 3 openly anti-Semitic congresspeople were just voted in the United States House of Representatives. Do you hear any outcry by the mainstream media? And again, put the issue of Jew hatred aside. That should be a taboo for all society. That is racism. That is discrimination. Where are the progressives? Where are the mainstream media? Where are the university professors who preach against racism, who preach against discrimination, who preach for equality and against hatred? Yet 3 Democrat representatives have just been voted into the United States House of Representatives, and silence. Not a word. Not a word. You don't think that the Jew haters around the world are watching and listening and seeing how Jew hatred is being accepted? That the mainstream media, that the mainstream political party, the Democratic Party, is not coming out forcibly against this blatant racism and discrimination? No, they see it clearly. They see how this anti-Semitism is being coddled and enabled. Unfortunately, it's mostly on the left. Yes, racism and anti-Semitism and Jew hatred does also exist on the far right, but they are shunned. They themselves are not accepted. They don't have a political party that gives them a stamp of okay, that you're okay. No, they are a fringe element on the right and despised on the right and not coddled by the established right. But yet, you have the Jew hatred on the left that isn't called out by the mainstream left or by the Democratic Party. And Jew haters see this. And this Muslim guy in Los Angeles, Muhammad, sees this. And he goes, okay, let me kill a Jew today. I'm in my car. I see an Israel car ramming attack take place. I'll use my car as a car ramming attack. What Jew can I kill today? Oh, there are some Jews walking down the street. Oh, they're on the other side of the street? No problem. I'm going to swerve my car all the way around so I can hit them and hopefully kill them. That is now being done on the streets of the United States of America. And people don't think that it stops at the Jews. Because once anyone who bears hate inside of them sees that others are doing this, they will do it too. Whether they hate Jews, whether they hate blacks, whether they hate whites, whether they hate Latinos, doesn't make a difference. The second hatred is being allowed to fester in mainstream American society, anyone who holds on to a hatred will see he's acting out of his hatred. I'm going to act out on my hatred. The Jews are always the canary in the coal mine. We are always the first ones targeted because we're so easy. We're always blamed. We're always the scapegoat. Whether you hate the Jew because he's the communist or you hate the Jew because he's the capitalist. Whether you hate the Jew because he's poor or you hate the Jew because he's rich. We're always blamed. Always. People just have to pluck the reason out of the sky, say, that's why I hate the Jew. Today I hate him because he's right-wing. Today I hate him because they're liberals. Today I hate them because they fund the conservative think tanks. Today I hate them because they fund the liberal think tanks. Jews are everything, and anyone who hates us will pull any reason to act upon that hate. So we're always the first ones with canary in the coal mine. But once that genie is out of the bottle, and that Jew hatred is able to be acted upon, to silence from mainstream society, from mainstream media, then the other genies of hatred are going to fly out of the bottle as well. And then chaos ensues. Because if you look at the historical map, any civilization that allowed anti-Semitism, Jew hatred to overcome and be mainstreamed and be acted out upon against their Jewish population, those civilizations self-destructed. Every single one of them. Nazi Germany no longer exists. They took it out on a Jew. We were the canary in the coal mine. They wanted to go after the world. Nazi Germany's gone. The Spanish Empire, the Inquisition, the expulsion of the Jews. It started with the Jews. They turn on each other. That Spanish Empire is gone. The Roman Empire. They took it out to destroy the Jews. They destroyed every society, but they specifically destroyed the Jews and took pride in destroying the Jews and the Jewish nation state. They're no longer gone. Anyone today who thinks that they can allow this Jew hatred to fester, they are in for a rude awakening because they are allowing and enabling the ultimate self-destruction of their own society. Because just think of it at the practical level. You're allowing a hatred and evil to fester. And that's a blackness in the soul, whether it's the soul of a person or the soul of a society. A society, a nation, a country is a living organism. So that blackness, that affects the soul of that entity, whether it's a person, a nation, a country. And if it's allowed to grow, well, it's going to turn that whole entity into the blackness. So, folks, be like Israel. Stand up for your identity. Stand up against the hatred. We're dealing with it on a daily basis here, but we're strong Jews, and we are proud of our identity as Jews and our Jewish nation state. And we're going to overcome the hatred that is out against us. The world doesn't want us to fight. The world likes to mourn dead Jews, right? They like to go to Holocaust memorials. They like to build Holocaust museums. They like to talk about the dead Jews. The world doesn't like to see a Jew stand up and fight for himself and defend himself. And when we do, then they have pity on those who we have to kill to defend ourselves. But we're the ones defending ourselves. It's our enemies who are the ones who took up arms against us, who deserved what they get because they could have lived peacefully with us, because we're one of the most peace-loving nations of the world, who are so giving to anyone, any country who wants to live in peace with us. But yet the world would rather bash us for defending ourselves, and they only want to celebrate us when we're dead. Well, we're proud Jews, and we're here, and we're going to defend ourselves. And I want you to take that feeling to your country. You be a proud American. You be a proud British. You be a proud French. You be a proud Australian. Stand up against the onslaught that is happening against all of our nations and all of our national identities. Because on the one hand, listen to this, on the one hand, you have the progressives who talk about multiculturalism. But on the other hand, whoa, you can't. On the other hand, you can put down Judaism and you can put down Christianity and why are people Jewish or Christian? But don't you dare put down Islam or insult the Prophet Muhammad. Not at all. Muslims are about peace. Jews and Christians, get out of the way. Forget about those identities. Forget about those antiquated religions. Islam, hands off. But yet multiculturalism. There is an inherent hypocrisy with the progressives, with the left. And it's an inherent partnership between the progressive left and the Islamization. It's called the Red-Green Alliance. And it is coming after every single Western country. That partnership of the progressive left and Islamization is little by little eating away at each and every one of the Western countries out there, all under the name of progressivism, right? You have Linda Sarsour out there talking about women's rights. She supports Sharia law, which is the most antiquated set of laws against women, and yet she is the poster child of women's rights. People, wake up. Islam is about fighting for minority rights when they're a minority, and then taking away all of your minority rights when they are the majority. Just look at the Muslim countries in the Middle East. There are no minority rights. When Islam is the majority, they take away everyone else's rights. So, the Red-Green Alliance, the Progressives and Islamists Alliance in America, in France, in Britain, be careful. Beware. They are wolf in sheep's clothing. You have these Muslim organizations like CARE who talk it up about progressive values. Beware. The second they become a majority, forget about your progressive values. Out the window, folks. That is what we are up against. And we, the Jews, whether here in Israel or in Los Angeles, we are your canary in the coal mine. Wake up. Stand with us, stand up against this hatred, against this growth of hatred, and against the acting upon this hatred by trying to kill us to ensure that it stops and doesn't continue to get each and every one of you. Because they're not only after the Jews, folks. They're after all freedom-loving people. Because the bottom line theology of Islam is an Islamic caliphate where there is only their God and all the rest of us are dhimmis, are subjects to their God and their way of life. So beware of the truth. And I am your truth sayer, just like Ari was your truth sayer. Thank you so much for watching. And share, share, share. Shalom from the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people, the land of Israel.